Hey everybody, this is Chris and I'm excited to talk with you today. I was asked this week, how should a student pastor schedule their time? And that is a very valid question if you're a full-time student pastor, but it's even more crucial if you're a part-time student pastor, a volunteer, or a bivocational, okay? Then you really have to learn to streamline your time and really focus on what matters most, because you're juggling another 9-to-5 job, you're juggling probably family, maybe kids, and you've got all this other stuff going on. So how can you get the most bang for your buck when it comes to how you spend your time? Now, I've got 4 things. I believe these are 4 things, 4 hours a week, that if you will do these consistently, they will transform your ministry. They will take you leaps and bounds into the future as far as health goes, but you have to do them consistently each week, okay? Now, when I talk about, I don't want you to get confused. This is not the 4-hour youth ministry book that was recently written. I've read the first few chapters. I haven't read the whole thing, but it's a good book and everything, but that's not what this is about. This is based on a conversation I had, and I had some youth pastors talking to me about it, wondering how to do it. And so I boiled it down into 4 key things. Now, here's what I want you to know. This is outside of the fact that you are praying and having a quiet time and walking with Jesus, okay? That is assumed as a child of God, as a man or woman of God. I'm assuming you do that, so you're praying for your students and your ministry within your daily quiet time, your daily walk with God. So I'm assuming that. So here's 4 things outside of prayer. Here's 4 things that I believe are key to taking your ministry further faster. Number 1 is every week block out an hour to hang with a student. Maybe it's 1 student, maybe it's 2 students, maybe it's 3 students together in a group, but carve out at least 1 hour a week where you're just with students. That can be playing video games, that could be hanging out and playing basketball, that could be going out for breakfast or lunch or whatever, watching a movie. It could be anything, but 1 hour a week you are touching life with a student, okay? And you're connecting with them, okay? You are spending time with them, saying they know that you value them, they know that you're for them, and that they matter, okay? That's what that is about. And you cannot be a student pastor and you cannot have a successful ministry if you don't hang out with students. That's just a fact, okay? Plus, it's kind of your calling. So, spend time with a student at least an hour a week. The second hour that will transform your ministry is spend time with a leader. Now, this is one of your student leaders, not your students, but one of the adult volunteers that lead on your student team with you, okay? Now, of course, I'm assuming you are building a team, or you already have a team, or you made a mental note to build a team, because a lone ranger is a dead ranger, and you can never give these students what they need on your own. You need a team of godly adults who love God and like students and will walk with you and walk with them. So each week, spend at least 1 hour with one of your adults. Now, here's what I recommend how to do that is eat with them. Okay, eat with them, because the table is the great equalizer. Everyone feels comfortable when you're around the table, talking and laughing. That just comes naturally around food. Jesus did it every time he met with anybody almost. So eating. Now here's how I also recommend it to get it in your schedule if you have a tough schedule, is eat with them Sunday morning after church. So I would say every week take one of your leaders, one of your student team leaders out to lunch, because A, you're probably going to eat out anyway. All right, and B, everyone's already together at church, so it's not like you have to carve a Saturday out and make sure you're in town and make sure you don't have a ball game and blah, 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 blah. Just say, hey, this Sunday or next Sunday, hey, you want to go grab lunch and spend time with them. That is a great way to get it in your schedule without really taking anything away from your schedule. The third hour a week that will really make an impact is, obviously, this is kind of a no-brainer, study your sermon. Now, you may say, Chris, I can't write a sermon in an hour. Well, I will tell you this, that's why I said study your sermon, because writing a sermon does take longer, and I recommend, if you're part-time or bivocational or volunteer, I recommend use a curriculum. There's so many good curriculums out there now that you can get that are solid Bible-based teachings that you can take that, study that, and give it to them and connect with them and answer their questions and help them walk with Jesus. So I recommend that for your time and for your schedule and all of that you would use a curriculum, and then that you would just study that for an hour and then give it to them. Now, you don't want to You don't want to really go over 15 or 20 minutes because you'll lose them anyways. Their attention spans are shot. And so it's really more about how to take this truth of the scripture in this lesson, apply it to them, and help them to wrestle with it and answer questions about it. And so if you have any more questions about that, I'll go into more detail. You can comment on the video and I'll answer anything you have. So the fourth thing is this: 1 hour a week, spend it in planning your events. Now this is where a lot of youth pastors struggle with, okay? Organization, planning, that's not really fun. So most youth pastors are either all people person and relational animals and they hate organization and planning, or a lot of student pastors on the other side, they want to be in their office studying 80 hours a week, planning for years, but they don't want to hang out with people, which neither of those will work on their own. Okay, you need to learn to grow them both. And so for this one, you need to take an hour a week to plan what is your student calendar for the year. What event do you have coming up? Do you need to reserve vans? Do you need to reserve lodging? Do you need to promote it? Do you have your leaders committed? Did they get off work? Do the students need to bring anything? What's the budget for it? Do you need to ask the church for money? So many things. And again, if you need help with that, message me. I'll be glad to help you in any of those, walk through any of those if they boggle your mind. But it's important that you do have an hour every week that you are working on those logistics. So I believe that those four things, outside of Sunday morning church and outside of your student ministry night, if it's Wednesday, most churches are, but if it's Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, whatever, but outside of those meetings, this is 4 hours you can spend that will radically improve your ministry, transform it, and help it to grow in health. But you have to be consistent. You have to do it week in and week out. I hope this helps, and over the next few weeks, I'm going to try to go a little deeper in each of these areas. So stay tuned. Talk to you later.